The man known in New York's weed scene as Asshole Joe, a semi-affectionate moniker for the silver-haired, craggy-voiced 50-year-old pot legend Joe Murray, grew and sold cannabis in the city when it was really illegal. And he has the stories to prove it. In 1994, a few years before Murray would popularize the cannabis varietal known as sour diesel, one of the most sought-after strains of marijuana that fetched as much as $15,000 a pound back in the day, his best friend was brutally murdered. His head was bashed in with a hammer while trying to collect money owed to him. In the years that followed, Murray set up multiple cannabis grows in apartments in Manhattan, warehouses in Brooklyn, and one inside a Chinatown bordello. Whenever Snoop Dogg came to New York, Murray always had a special stash of the hip-hop mogul's favorite bud called RBK. Another associate of his who smuggled weed for a Mexican cartel opened a bale of marijuana and his missing business partner's severed head rolled out. But somehow, Murray made it through that period unscathed, without so much as a drug arrest on his record, perhaps because his cult chronic, sour diesel, known for its energetic high and skunky, citrusy aroma, was even more famous than he was. Yet Murray, whose operations, Forbes estimates, generated more than $10 million in revenue during a decade of producing sour diesel illegally, doesn't have much to show for his cash crop. "I never sat on millions of dollars," he says while smoking a rolled cigarette in his living room in New York's Hudson Valley. "Money was being shoveled at me and I was shoveling it out just as fast." For the past few years, however, Murray has been trying to get into the $25 billion legal market. He was hired to run grow operations for licensed companies in Colorado and California, but it never works out for long. Murray, who has been growing cannabis since he was a teenager, may have been the custodian for a lucrative strain, but he also has a habit of calling people working with him morons, and idiots, and dopes. His nickname is Asshole Joe, for a reason. "I'm a little rough around the edges because I was used to dealing with gangsters and mobsters," he says while glancing at the time on his Rolex GMT, a gift from his father. But in 2022, Murray licensed his genetics and the AJ Sour Diesel name for an 8% cut of total sales to New York-based cannabis grower Flower House, and by November 2023 the first batches of the now legally grown strain hit the shelves of New York's dispensaries. For Flower House, a legal 36-acre cannabis farm in Walden, New York, which Forbes estimates to have sold $3.4 million worth of marijuana last year, partnering with Murray was a no-brainer, co-founder and CEO Greg Tanner says. "Growing up a New Yorker, sour diesel was always something you looked for," he explains. "It was that mythical legend, a strain by New Yorkers for New Yorkers, and the varietal has lived up to its mythical status financially."